All right, what's up, folks? Welcome back. This is John Ken Talks. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the WNBA. Caitlin Clark and a lot of the controversy surrounding her and other rookies in the NBA, the WNBA. So I did not intend for this channel to be a sports channel. We're all about finance, right? We follow the money, and so although two of the most popular stories right now that I wanted to cover are LeBron and Bronny for the NBA, and Caitlin Clark for the WNBA. I still want to try to pull out some money tips and career tips that we can take, even though we're kind of looking at it through the lens of some of these sports stories. So maybe next week something else will be in the news and I'll talk about it. But right now, this is what's hot. This is what I want to talk about. So please go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you find any value or entertainment in this content, and let's get right to it. So the WNBA is very interesting, and it's at an interesting place right now, right? That for a long time, I feel like the WNBA was kind of obscure compared to the rest of North American sports leagues. But in the last 2 years, the profile of the WNBA has really been raising. Probably the last 3 or 4 years, to be honest, right? And I think part of that is really driven from college, because there've been some pretty competitive college WNBA finals games over the last couple of years, even before Caitlin Clark, right? People were following UConn in their win streak for the longest, and South Carolina's always trying to upset whoever the top dog is. Like, I think at least during the March Madness and the finals, I think people do pay a lot of attention to women's college basketball, and then they want to follow some of their favorite players into the WNBA. So I think they get a little bit of a boost from that, right? So recently, right, Caitlin Clark has been all the rage, right, for WNBA, and all the rage from both sides. Whether she's got a very electric and active fan base that really supports her, wants to pay money to go see her play, is going to make sure that they tune in, whether the game is on regular TV, whether they're paying for a subscription. Like, she has an electric fan base. But there's also rage from the other side, where folks are kind of saying, hey, why is she getting all this attention? She's just a rookie. We're going to show her who's boss whenever she gets, into the court with us, more seasoned players, right? So she's a very polarized individual, and I'm not sure a lot of that is her fault. Like, I don't really see a lot of public statements from her. I know in college she talked a lot of trash from time to time, especially with Angel Reese. But it doesn't seem like, she's played into a lot of those narratives recently in WNBA. I could be wrong. I could have missed something. But it seems like a lot of the controversy is kind of, media driven and just personality driven, whether folks like her and they make content and make comments about that, or do they don't like her and then, they run from that direction. That's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the fact that regardless of how, folks feel about Caitlin Clark, like, I feel like the WNBA may be missing an opportunity to really capitalize on what she's bringing and the attention that she brings. And so, everyone there, is getting paid. This is their job. They're passionate about the game of basketball in the WNBA. And it's in their best interest to try to make that as lucrative a endeavor as possible. Now, they get paid, as we've seen, a fraction of what NBA players get paid, but there's other opportunities to kind of, raise their income. And one of those things is with the idea of like advertising and marketing for brands. And one of the ways I feel there could be a little bit more partnership with the WNBA players and Caitlin Clark is to just leverage her high profile and try to do, some commercials, some advertising where it's Caitlin Clark and, say maybe the group of rookies like, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, a couple of the other folks. And like, we're all just, having fun drinking Gatorade, or we're all just, having fun, on a Carnival cruise line or whatever the brand is. But like there's an opportunity there, instead of like trying to compete, right? There's an opportunity to just get together and make it seem like, WNBA, we're competitors, but on our off time, we like to chill out, hang out, take good care of ourselves, self care, and indulge in some of these great brands. Like, I think that's an opportunity to be missed because there's so much focus on making sure that we knock her down a peg, right? But maybe we just, ride the wave with her and see if we can all, eat off of that. I think the other place where we have to recognize Caitlin's potential value to the WNBA is just in just ticket sales, watch time, streaming, all that kind of stuff. Like everybody benefits, right? When she plays, people tune in. People go to see the game, regardless of what team she's playing against, right? I think we're doing a disservice if we're always trying to say, hey, don't pay attention to her. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to something else. Like, let's foul her really hard and, and pretend like it was, an accident. Like, I don't know why this animosity is happening, because a lot of folks, again, they can get paid, they can raise their profile, they can build their own personal brand by partnering with someone like a Caitlin Clark. And I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan or apologist. I'm just saying we got to recognize, for what it is. It's an opportunity, right? So if I think about what's happening with Caitlin Clark and how I can kind of make that analogous to what's going on in our own lives, regular everyday non-celebrities, just in a workplace trying to figure out how to operate. What lessons can we take from what's going on there, right? Number one, learn to ride a wave. Follow a trend, right? I think growing up, there's a lot of talk about, don't follow the trend, be a trendsetter and all this kind of stuff. Grown up world, I've found that following a trend is exactly what you need to do a lot of times, right? If there is say, for example, a career field that's really hot, say like AI right now, right? Cloud computing and data science a couple years ago. And before that, like coding and things like that. Before that, making websites. If someone had decided to plug into that trend at any point, when it was on its way up, you stand to make a lot of good money. You stand to gain some really valuable skills that are valuable in the marketplace and can give you a lot of satisfaction for like a job well done and bringing new things, to bear in the world. It is okay to follow a trend, right? Caitlin is the trend. And everything I said previously here is hey, let's hop on that bandwagon and see if we can all, get a piece of what's going on there, right? So I think in our own lives, in our own careers, following a trend is the thing to do. Like, we don't want to be unwise, right? We don't want to follow it down like I did, right, with Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin a while ago, way back when, like $600, rode it all the way up to like 12, 13, 1400, and right back down to $300 or $400. Then I sold, right? It's the wrong thing to do. But when you think about following a trend, you want to follow it up, and you want to quickly understand when it's time to switch the trend and, switch what you're doing, right? But I think there are some things that have more staying power than like, a cryptocurrency, like, again, technologies. You're never going to go wrong learning a technology. You're never going to go wrong following a trend and like seeing that, hey, this is hot in my industry, whether it's finance, construction, I don't know, security, logistics, wherever you work. Like, what's hot right now? Let's go learn a little bit more about that. Let's talk to somebody who's really excelling and see how I can add a little bit of what he or she is doing, to my own career. That's the first thing I think we can kind of learn as an analog to what's going on with Caitlin Clark and WNBA. Second, I believe, don't let personal hangups block your bag. That's something that I feel happens so much, right? I feel like anyone can learn at least one lesson from anyone. So it might be that very annoying boss that you just can't stand, that's a little bit hard on you, a little micromanaging, maybe a little bit annoying. But is there something I can learn from this person? Like, why are they the boss and I'm not? Is there something I can learn from them? Just one thing. I don't have to like them, don't have to love them, don't have to invite them to, Thanksgiving dinner. But what can I take from them to like add to my toolbox so that I can continue to increase, my progress towards where I'm trying to go? whether I'm trying to increase my career, increase my finances, increase my influence in the community. Like, what is this person doing right that put them in that position? Sometimes it's nepotism, right? like we talk about Bronny James or whatnot, but why was that person in that position to be a beneficiary of nepotism, right? Again, there's something we can learn, and don't just block off folks because we just flat out don't like them, because we can learn something. They may be on a different side of the aisle. They may be from a different culture. They may have different social norms or whatever. You don't have to love them. You don't have to marry them. You don't have to live with them. Just learn from them, right? We can learn from anybody, and we again, like WNBA, we can get together. We can all shoot this Carnival Cruise Line commercial, and then we can go back to being competitors because we're on different teams, and I don't like you, you don't like me. Cool. It's all about money. We see this happen already, right? We see players do these jersey swaps. I don't like it, right? I think competition, right? Do that stuff off the court, off the field, but whatever. They do these jersey swaps. They put pictures on social media. They make some money. They sell some jerseys or whatnot. Cool. And then they go back. Next time I see you, I'm still going to try to, run you over, or I'm going to try to dunk on you. Cool. Right? We see, like, musicians. We see Crips and Bloods, get together, do a concert. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, all these guys. I don't know if they're real Crips and Bloods, but like affiliations, right? Get together because it's about the money. I think Snoop Dogg even spoke to that and said, "Hey, I'll shoot a video with anybody because I'm about the dollars." Right. So I think we see this happen in many places. I don't know. It's just not always apparent that that's what's happening, right? Coke and Pepsi. If you go to some places, some schools, some arenas, it's a Pepsi arena, it's a Coke arena. Some restaurants you go to have both, right? They've said, hey, this gas station is so important. I think there's room for both of us here. And, I want to bring in the customers as much as I can. I want to appeal to everybody. So I'm Coke. I want to cohabitate with you, Pepsi, right? It happens. And I think, just because we're competitors doesn't mean we can't, help each other out or do something that's beneficial. I think also partnership over competition. That's my third and final point. The first thought that we have when we see someone else, whether it's a peer or someone above us, below us, let your first thought be partnership. What can I gain from them? What can I potentially share or offer to them? I'm not a know-it-all, but I can offer some experience, some advice, and take it or leave it. That brand new person in the office that's new to the job may be your competition, right? It might happen. That's life. But whatever, on a human level, I'm here to better myself, and I'm here to, improve the environment in which I work. Let me offer a couple tips. Let me chat. Let me have lunch with this person. Let me, show them the who's who. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. And then when we're competing, right? But at that human connection, partnership over competition, right? Again, we're all operating to move ourselves closer to our goals. And I don't think anyone wakes up, like, no one listening to this is waking up saying, you know what, my goal is to destroy so and so at work. You don't wake up with that goal. You say, my goal is to, pay off my student loans. My goal is to, build my retirement. My goal is to, transition into this new career field. And then at some point between waking up in the morning, thinking about your goal, and getting to work and finishing the workday, something happens and it triggers us, right? And then we start going into competition mode. But no, bring yourself back. Let's get grounded and say, okay, what did I wake up? What did I come here to do? And think about that. That should be the lens through which we see every action we take. And I feel like, again, going back to the WNBA, I'm like, we're here, yes, to win basketball games, right? But this is an economic endeavor, right? There's a lot of money to be made, and a lot of that money is made based on how much attention we can bring. So the more we can prop up Caitlin Clark from a social perspective, that's a good thing, right? And then if you block her shot or you shoot a three in her face, cool, whatever. It's competition, right? But everything outside of the court, let's build it up to get people in the seats. Like boxers is a good example, right? If you see, like when you see Floyd Mayweather, you used to see him out there, or the MMA fighters or whatnot, like they do all these events, right? They do the stare down, they do the weigh in, they do the interviews. All of that is meant to build buzz so that people will watch that fight, right? Now, this is fighting, so there's not going to be a lot of nice words said across to each other, but they have said, "Hey, let's show up at this arena, at this conference center in Las Vegas before the fight, and let's build buzz because the more people that buy that DirecTV, the more we both make, right? Let's go do the stare down. I'll meet you for the stare down when I'd rather be, getting a massage, or I'd rather be getting my last meal in or getting another workout in. I'm going to meet you for this stare down, and we're going to do the whole photo shoot, photo op, because again, the more people that see that, they might want to come see the fight. They might want to buy some things, and I'm going to get a piece of that, right? Partnership over competition. Now, then when we get in the ring, there's no more of that partnership, right? I'm trying to win. I'm trying to dominate you. You're trying to do the same to me. It's him or me, right? But everything before that is partnership, right? And so I think not just for WNBA, but for us, like if we're not specifically financially incentivized to compete against someone, like they work for Dell, you work for Apple, and you're trying to sell something to the same school district or something like that, there's no reason to be in competition, right? I'll compete against myself because I want to be the best self I can be. I might set goals, compete that way, right? Within my department, but leading competition, it's just a race to the bottom. It's a race to zero, right? Partnership, how can we put our stuff together? Like, how can we put, Caitlin Clark, brand new energy, fresh out of college, coming off of a, championship appearance. Diana Taurasi, with that great run with UConn years ago, undefeated season. The two generations are going to meet on Thursday and clash. That's a great story, right? It's an excellent story, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. That was a big thing in college. Here they go again, about to battle it out. Let's meet up and do a photo op. Let's do a little quick commercial, stand back to back with the basketball, like really, look like we're, gonna build this thing up, right? Partnership. And then, like I said, get on the court, knock each other out, legally. So anyway, that's just a couple thoughts I had about the current, WNBA, Caitlin Clark, all that. Beef does not, it doesn't help anybody. So hopefully you were able to take something away from what I said. Kind of rambled a little bit. It's late. It's like 2 a.m. right now. But hope you were able to take away something from what I said. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are looking to grow pretty quickly here. I want to put at least 2 videos a week out. So the more subscriptions I get, the more thumbs up, the more encouragement. And I'm like, okay, this is right. We're on the right track. Also in the comments, let me know where you agree or disagree. And let me know if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in future, kind of at the nexus of like current events and personal finance / career. That's kind of where we're trying to position this channel. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.